Welcome to Ranka Denim Textile Mills Limited and Ranka Shohel Composite Textile Mills Limited. We are entering through the mill gate and this is the whole factory layout being seen from the top of the factory. We are entering Ranka Denim Textile Mills Limited section. Process flow chart of denim production. The denim production starts with the warping process where the cone and the cheese are converted into a bigger spool called the warper's beam. The warper's beam are then fed into the dyeing and sizing machine where the yarn is dyed and sized and made suitable for the weaving process. The weaver's beam from dyeing and sizing goes into the weaving section where the fabric is manufactured. The woven grey fabric goes into the finishing process where the fabric is finally given the finishing treatment, and the finished fabrics from there that is ready for garmenting goes into the inspection process. The whole fabric is inspected as per American 4-pointer system. Then the fabric is sent into the packing section where it's packed and ready for export. It starts with the warping process. In the warping process, the yarn packages in the form of cheese and cones are converted into a bigger package called the spool or the warper's beam. After warping starts the indigo dyeing section. In the indigo dyeing section there are two slasher machines. Here the warping beams are mounted on the creel zone, you can see on the right, and that is how the whole warp sheets are passed through the machines and they are dyed in different dye tanks. They are dipped and then put into aeration, again dipped, put into aerations. This is how the whole dyeing process takes place, by dipping and aeration in successive processes. And then after that it is put into pre-dryer, you can see on the right. After that it is then sized on the sizing and then again finally dried, drawn through the releasing zone, and from there they form the final bigger beam called the weaver's beam. You can see this beam already ready for weaving. The mill has indigo dye lab section where the GPL and concentration of the dye bath is measured through a sophisticated instrument called metronome. After the dyeing comes the weaving section. The weaver's beam are fed into the weaving section where they are woven into denim fabrics. Here we have 145 looms, all having dobby attachments and can make premium fabrics with different kind of weaves. We can make satins here, we can make dobby fabrics here. They have all modern ancillaries and attachments to make all the regular fabrics as well as stretch and design fabrics. After the weaving process starts the finishing section. In the finishing section, the grey fabrics from the looms are opened and singed with the help of the fire to remove the protruding fibers and hairiness. You can see the grey fabrics passing through the singeing process into the softener bath where it is treated with a softener and then into the sulfurizing belt and finally out into the finished form. This fabric is already pre-shanked and pre-skewed so that it doesn't give a shrinkage or skew in the later stage. The stenter machine is normally used for the stretch fabrics for controlling the shrinkage. Here the fabric is passed through a heating zone for controlling the shrinkage of the fabric. In the left hand side you can see the erection of desizing and mercerizing machine going on. After finishing is the final inspection and packing. You can see the auto packing machine working. All 100% rolls are inspected based on American 4-pointer system and finally packed in the auto packing machine and delivered to the customer. The roll coming after packing, ready to be stored and delivered. Ranka Shohel Composite Textile Mills is a yarn dyeing section where the yarns are dyed with reactive dyes and then delivered to the customer. The process flow chart of yarn dyeing production. The yarn dyeing production starts with a soft winding machine where the hard cones are converted into soft packages suitable for the dyeing process. The soft cones are first subjected to scouring and bleaching to make the yarn receptible to dyes and also white and to remove the impurities from the cotton. Then it is fed into the package dyeing machine where it is dyed based on the buyer's requirement. The dyed cones are then sent into hydroextracted process where the loose water molecules are removed and then the packages are sent into the drying process. It is completely dried from there and again the soft cone are converted into a hard cone in the hard winding process and then finally the hard wound package are sent into inspection and packing from where it is exported to the customer. The process starts with the coning process where the package is converted into soft cone to make it ready for dyeing. You can see the soft coning machines here, how it works. These soft cones are then fed into the dyeing machines where they are dyed. You can see the dyeing machines here. There are also dryers and hydro extractors. After the dyeing, they are fed into the hydro extractors to remove the water particles and then dried into the drying machines. The factory has a yarn dyeing lab where they used to match the color before going into the bulk. From the matched color bobbins, they also produce the fabric through hand knitting process and checks before going into the further bulk production. Soon after yarn dyeing starts the winding process. The soft cone those are dyed are again converted into hard package that is ready for selling outside. Here you can see the winding process going on. Conversion of soft package to the hard winding cones ready to be delivered to the customer. The hard packages are then transferred into the inspection and packing department. In the inspection and packing department, they used to inspect those package individually and they used to pack and then finally put into the big sack for delivery. Now we can see the raw material store. Here we have all the chemicals that is required for both the yarn dyeing as well as denim dyeing processes, and it also contains the yarns that is required to produce the fabrics. We normally procure the yarns from India, Pakistan, China, across the globe, wherever it is cheap. And the chemicals are procured from nominated suppliers like BSF, Rudolph, Clariant and dyes from China. There are also special dyes required for the yarn dyeing process are procured from Clariant and Huntsman. We have a very rich store where we have a huge amount of stock being mounted for our upcoming orders. This is normally done to reduce the lead time for procuring the raw materials and also giving a better support to the customer. You can see the huge store with lot of yarns from India and Pakistan and also coming locally. You can see the whole layout of the godown here, that is having a stock of yarns, very rich stock of yarns. Now comes the finished fabric godown. Here we have the stock of the fabric that is already finished and ready for dispatches to the customer. These fabrics are normally made based on projections of the customer, and also whenever required we used to ship it out based on the customer requirement. You can see a huge amount of fabrics here being kept for ready for deliveries. Whenever the customer needs, we used to give it. This is normally done to reduce the production lead time and should also to give a better support to the customers. These are all ready stocks to be delivered to the customer as when required. This is all made based on projections and LCs and also sometimes against the booking for good customers. After the finished fabric godown, we are into the compressor room. In the compressor room we have compressors for running the airjet machines and also other dyeing and finishing machines. We have two boilers for our captive generation of steam required for various process using compressed natural gas. For continuous supply of power, we have captive generation of electricity using a diesel and a gas generator. We have a 50 meter cube per hour water treatment plant for a continuous supply of soft water to various wet processing zone. We have a 50 meter cube per hour ETP plant for continuous discharge of effluent waters. We make everything and anything in denims, from 4.5 ounce to 14.5 ounce fabrics. It includes the stretch, the non-stretch, the poly-stretch, the polycottons, the CVCs, the slub denims, the cross-serge and even the color denims. Now comes the list of the buyers with which we are working at present. We are working with buyers like Alcott, Walmart, Bershka, Lidl, Lindex, Pull&Bear, Aldi, Kick and NKD. Thank you.